How to sand in grooves. Sanding in grooves can be difficult, but it can be a breeze with the right tips and tricks. There are a few different ways to sand in grooves, each with its own benefits and drawbacks. Why should you sand in grooves? Grooves are often difficult to reach with a standard belt sander. The small, narrow space can be hard to maneuver, and the sander can easily miss the groove. 13 effective ways on how to sand in grooves. 1. Use a standard belt sander. One of the most common ways to sand in grooves is using a standard belt sander. 2. Use a contour belt sander. A contour belt sander is a specialized tool designed to sand in grooves and other tight spaces. 3. Use a drum sander. A drum sander is another common tool used to sand in grooves. 4. Detail sanding cones. Detail sanding cones are small, cone-shaped pieces of sandpaper that fit into tight spaces. 5. Use a sanding block. A sanding block is a small piece of wood or foam that you can wrap sandpaper around. 6. Use a spindle sander. A spindle sander is a great option for sanding in tight spaces. 7. Use sanding detailers. Sanding detailers are small, handheld sanders that are great for getting into tight spaces. 8. Use an orbital sander. Orbital sanders are handheld power tools that are used to sand large surfaces. 9. Applying oscillating tools. These types of tools can be very effective for sanding in tight spaces. 10. Large contour sanding pads. Large contour sanding pads are another great option for sanding in tight spaces. 11. Spindle sander. A spindle sander is a great tool for sanding in tight spaces. 12. Using a woodworking file. You can use fine grit sandpaper to smooth the area after filing. 13. Using curved backers. Curved backers are tools that are designed to sand curved surfaces. How to use a contour belt sander? If necessary, use a vacuum attachment to collect dust as you work. How do you sand tight crevices? But when working with tight crevices and grooves, it can be difficult to get the sandpaper into the right position. 1. Choose the right sandpaper. But if your piece is particularly damaged or you are trying to remove a lot of paint, you may need to start with coarse grit paper, 60 to 100. 2. Fold your sandpaper. This will help you get a good grip on the paper and avoid tearing it. 3. Wet the sandpaper. This will help reduce dust and give you more control over sanding. 4. Sand in a circular motion. If you are working on a large project, you may want to use an electric sander. 5. Vacuum or brush away the debris. Once you're finished sanding, use a vacuum cleaner with a brush attachment to remove the dust from the crevices. 6. Change your paper regularly. As the paper wears down, it will become less effective at removing debris. Sanding in grooves is a great way to sand evenly and avoid creating swirls.